B fans, and I'm here today to talk to you about the gender pay gap. If ever there's a topic that means nothing, then it's the gender pay gap. Let me explain. You probably, when you hear the word gender pay gap, think I'm talking about how men or women earn more than each other. And well, in some ways, that's what it is. However, you will be thinking that it's all about how much we earn per hour. So when I talk about a gender pay gap, and let's say, for example, I say that females are doing worse than males, you probably are going to logically assume that that means men earn more per hour than females for doing the same job. That's not correct, because that's illegal. That is something that you can't do in the UK, and it shouldn't be happening. However, we like to use the word gender pay gap because it sounds like it's going to get more headlines. The gender pay gap, in fact, is a measure in an organisation between how much men earn and how much females earn. What we do get, though, is stories like that. Now, as you can see, they like to make it and hype it up, but really, it's a totally pointless figure. Let me explain why. The gender pay gap is calculated by doing a mean, or an average, or a median of your employees. That's all well and good. Apart from, let's look at the statistics that the Office of National Statistics produced in 2008 for full and part-time workers. As you can see, 66% of part-time workers are female. That means that they're going to work less hours. As a result, you'd expect their average take-home pay to be less. But the gender pay gap suggests that women earn less than men. Well, there could be your answer. Now you might be thinking, why do those stats say that? Well, statistically, apparently females are more likely to stay at home and look after their children. So that could be a childcare need. They've chosen to do that. Many men do exactly the same. However, statistically that's the case. Also, there's an increasing move now for females to apparently care for their elders. So they become carers. So again, they might work part-time to do some care. There's also social factors. Many females apparently now enjoy a social side of going out, recreation with friends, for example, and choose to work part-time. So actually, it can be a choice they make. So, let's try and apply that data and show you an example and prove why the gender pay gap is completely flawed. In my example, you can see I have a company. It has 10 employees, 5 men and 5 female. Each of them, if they work full-time, gets the same wage of £500 per week. However, now let's try and ratio it based on the stats we've seen. I'm going to be generous to the females here. 2 of my females work part-time, 1 of my males works part-time. As you can see, I now have a gender pay gap because I'm paying them only half the rate that I was paying them because they're part-time. So they earn the same weekly wage if they work full-time, but I've just divided it in half because they work half the hours. There's no difference in how much they potentially could earn for doing the same job, but there is now a gender pay gap because they choose to work part-time. That is exactly why the gender pay gap is an utter load of rubbish in my eyes. It's created to try and make division. It's created to try and cause issues. Just like in an organisation, if you have some top employees who earn a very high substantial wage and they are one gender, they will skew the figures. If at the bottom end you've got another gender which is predominantly making up that rate, and let's say they work part-time, you have a gender pay gap. What do you do about it? Well, you could make women work full-time. Is that going to go down well? Tell every woman you can't have part-time hours, you're going to work full-time so that we can sort our gender pay gap out. No. What needs to happen is common sense. We need to ensure that everybody gets the same rate for the same job. That should be happening. If it's not happening, it needs to happen. And we also need to make sure that regardless of gender, the best person can do that job. Forget gender, it should be about ability. If we start looking to gender as the issue, then we have a serious problem. And on that note, I hope that you're thinking, yeah, I totally agree. Maybe you don't. Whatever, share your comments with me. You've got my social media handles down there. Send them to me. Let me know what you think. I would love to hear your thoughts. Remember, until next time, make sure you keep buzzing.